All right, hey there. Welcome to the DFS build. This is not DFS. This is fantasy football redraft. But I help across the board DFS or season-long fantasy. The goal is to help you win. So we are mocking from the 6th spot in this video, and the goal is to show you that you can build a winning team from there, and just show you a lot of the options that I personally like, and that if you like them, you can take them too in your draft, and hopefully this will just help you out. If you want to play DFS and you want a little bit of help, you can check out our Discord and Patreon. Just $5.99 a month. Link below this video. And of course, we're putting out DFS preseason content, MLB DFS, and of course, when NFL and NBA roll around, we'll have videos out for those regularly. I do have a breakdown for the first pick and the 12th pick in fantasy drafts, and basically we're just looking at 12-team standard full PPR setting. And I'm using sleeper ADP because why wouldn't you? And of course, just my own insight and how I value players. Now, you might value players a little bit differently. You might want to use a different setting, and you might not want to have kickers and defenses and certain things, in your system the way I have it. I'm just trying to make it kind of standard, so pretty much anybody can take something away from this. Obviously, super flex and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit different. If you want me to do a specific mock draft, drop a comment below, and be sure to check out those other videos. If you want to see more from your specific position, let me know. And if I get some comments and if this video gets 20 likes, I will do just that. All right, let's get to it. So first 5 picks have gone through. Jamar Chase, number 1. That doesn't shock anybody. Christian McCaffrey at 1.02. That's a little surprising. That's not going to happen in every draft. I still think he's definitely first-round worthy, but I have seen him go closer to the second round in a lot of drafts, and that's ideally where I'm targeting him. I think he's a great value if you're getting him there. Not so much at 1.02, just because he's getting older and he had a lost season last year and just lower body, health issues and just an injury risk. Like it seems every other year he dies of an injury. So I love Christian McCaffrey, but 1-2 is a bit steep. Bijan, Jettas, and then CD, that all makes sense. I don't have a problem with that. So it gets to the 1.6. You have the 6th overall pick in your draft in a 12-team standard PPR league. What do you do? I think you can do a lot of things. Obviously, you can go get Saquon. You can get Sun God. You could get Puka Nacua. You can get Malik Neighbors. I don't have a problem with any of those dudes. I think that's about where I cap it. Like Achane feels like more of a second-round value for me. Same with Nico, Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London. I like all those guys, but I'm waiting until the second round if I'm going to go grab them. The guy that really stands out is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, though, just because he does have immense PPR value. He has monster upside. He displayed it down the stretch last year and even in the playoffs. So, like, if they just give him a bigger workload, he's going to smash. I would be dancing between Gibbs and Neighbors at this spot, but I do like Gibbs the most, Gibbs the most, and it looks like the consensus here via Fantasy Pros draft simulator, which is a really cool tool that you can just keep resetting your draft and just mock it left and right and get it down to the point where at least where you're valuing players. You can roughly guess where they're going to end up, and then you can make decisions and just be as ready as possible. So we're going to take Gibbs, and we'll see what happens the next time we're up. This is kind of what it keeps happening, so I'm not surprised at all. Ladd McConkey, JSN, Brock Bowers, those guys are all really, really good. I do have my own reservations on all those 3 guys right there. I mean, you could the guy I'm going to pick, you might have reservations on him as well, and that's fair. I think Brock Bowers, massive rookie season. I think we're just paying a little bit too much for it. Round 2 for a tight end, to me, just isn't what I want to do. If you go get Brock Bowers, you probably feel pretty good about it. He is going to have a good year. I have full confidence in that. But new coach, new quarterback, and he has added competition for targets and just general usage. Ashton Genty, and then they drafted a wide receiver too, and then obviously you still have Jacoby Myers there. So I still think Bowers is a good pick. I just don't really feel amazing about him in the second round personally. Ladd McConkey, it's a run for a system with the Chargers. They went and got Trey Harris. They have other guys. They drafted Marion Hampton. Like, I'm sure he'll be fine. I just think he's got to be really hyper efficient to pay off that second round price tag. And it's okay. You can draft him. That's not who I'm going to target here. Same with JSN. He had monster volume last year, but the Seahawks have a new quarterback. They did bring in Cooper Kupp. Like, we just don't know how all these pieces are going to gel together. I just don't want to have, those big question marks necessarily. So I'm going with Garrett Wilson, and I know what you're thinking. Well, hello, those are also question marks. True, but he does have experience playing with Justin Fields for one, and number two, he's been like pretty viable no matter who his quarterback has been. And Justin Fields a little bit underrated. I think he's a little bit more capable than people think, give him credit for. Let's not forget DJ Moore had a massive top 10 season with Fields as his quarterback. And last year, Garrett Wilson, despite having Devontae Adams kind of dragging his upside down for most of the year, he was still wide receiver 10. Like he was still a beast. So I'm taking Garrett Wilson in the second round, and I'm not feeling bad about it. In round three, if you want to go get that stud quarterback like Josh Allen, I don't have a problem with it. It's just not my own personal strategy. It is a bummer for sure. Like when you have the chance to go get Josh Allen and you don't, and then later in the year, you could very well be kicking yourself and say, I could have had Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's going to put up like 25 fantasy points a week. Sure, that can be something you regret, but it is a more of a standard league. You have PPR, full PPR value for guys. So I want to get my running backs and wide receivers, and I want to get a good hit. I want a good value at tight end. So I just personally am going to wait at quarterback. I don't think that is the best pick here. I'm looking at running back because I feel like there's a lot of really good wide receiver pieces that I can still attack. There's some rookies and there's some underrated options as well. And honestly, after the next couple of picks, running back is going to thin out pretty horribly. This isn't, to me, the best season to do zero running back. So it's just not what I want to do. So I'll be looking at Chase Brown. Certainly, you could make an argument for Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara. I don't have a problem with that. Even James Cook. Not really going to take James Cook over any of those three guys. So it probably would boil down to Chase Brown and Breece Hall for me. That said, you always want to survey the land here. So just make sure, like, oh, did somebody fall that I didn't expect to fall, or is there another value pick here that I'm overlooking? So go look at quarterback. Josh Allen's still there if you want to do that. Lamar Jackson, Jane Daniels. I don't hate it, just based off of like locked in floor, massive upside. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I want to do. Wide receiver Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison. Just not probably the value right now at this pick, but it's okay. George Kittle, love George Kittle. The splits for George Kittle with and without Deebo Samuel are egregious. He is going to be a monster as long as Brock Purdy can kind of calibrate a little bit. And because Brock Purdy's personal splits without Deebo are not great. So, but Kittle benefits from it. So I do like Kittle a lot. Do I want to invest a third round pick in Kittle? Not necessarily. I do think we can get value at tight end later in the draft. So I am going to go back and get a guy I really, really like. I was high on him last year, told everybody to draft him. Took him a few games to get going with Zach Moss kind of in front of him for a little bit. But Chase Brown ended up absolutely smashing, and there's nothing to suggest that he won't smash again this year. So I'm taking him. Then we'll move it along here to round 4. We got our running backs. Don't really need to keep going at running back. If you want to get Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, I don't mind that, but I just don't think we need to go get our third running back here in 4 picks. We're looking at wide receiver. Don't mind DJ Moore, Ted McMillan, DK Metcalf. Those guys are all in play. Rashee Rice, the suspension thing is a little bit worrisome, so I'm not reaching for him at this point. Some people will, and just kind of stash him and wait for it. That's just not the way I roll. Go look at tight end again. Hawk, not super high on Hawk personally. I think he's okay. He's going to be a volume guy for sure, especially with J.J. McCarthy basically being a rookie. So if you want to get him, that's okay. I think at this point in round 4, I feel like we can get somebody else with similar value a little bit later. Sam Laporta, like I think Sam Laporta, he's actually kind of banged up at the moment. He just got an injury. So to me, he would have been a guy I'd be looking at in like round 5 or round 6 if he slides a little bit. But because of that, I'm probably going to be shying away from a tad. All things said, we turn back and we look at wide receiver. This might actually lower my score here on the draft simulator, but I think DK Metcalf, with the pure volume he's going to get from Aaron Rodgers, I know it's an Arthur Smith system. I know it's the Steelers who want to run and everything, and Rodgers very well could be washed. But Rodgers also still knows how to feed his number 1 wide receiver, and I think he's definitely going to do that with DK. Moving on here, there's still more value at wide receiver. We can just take a quick look at what's available at running back. If I was going to go running back here, I'd probably reach for RJ Harvey. Certainly, it's definitely something I would consider, but I still think the value at the wide receiver position is just going to be better at this spot. We can go take a look at tight end. It's the same guys. Not going to make that reach just yet, although in round 5 now, I think Hawkinson or making that reach for a healthier Laporta would certainly be in play. Go check quarterback again. Do I want Mahomes? I don't know. The Chiefs are going to air it out a little bit more. I don't really trust Mahomes anymore. I think last year kind of showed that he's human for one. Baker Mayfield weirdly came out of nowhere and like ran all over the place last year. That's gonna regress. Plus, he lost his offensive coordinator, so just not looking to reach there just yet. If I'm looking ahead a little bit, Kyler Murray, we know he has top 10 upside. That's been proven. Solid rushing floor, kind of inconsistent, like definitely like a spike week kind of guy, more of a best ball player. But I just think he still has that general top 10 upside. So he's probably the first guy in this group that I'd be looking at. But of course, I'm going back at wide receiver. You need three of them. You want four of them. So Jalen Waddle, Jameson Williams, even Pickens, Chris Olave, all these guys look really, really good. To me, it's convenient here that Jalen Waddle is the number one guy here. 32% of experts would be picking him here. I am with them there. I think Waddle is going to have a huge year. It does all depend on Tua. He needs to be healthy 100%. Waddle even has had his own injury issues. But I just think, hey, you got to take a little bit of risk. And in round 5, it's not that big of a risk to me. So Waddle is great. I do like Jameson Williams. I don't mind Pickens. And I really like Olave. Like if Olave, he's got the concussion thing for sure. It is a little bit risky, but if he slides to round 6, suddenly I'm getting two really good values that, as long as they stay healthy, are going to look really, really good. And see, there he is, sure enough. Now, certainly, you can make a case for Travis Hunter here. I don't mind that. I think if I'm going to be targeting a Jaguars wide receiver, I'm really looking at Brian Thomas Jr. In very late round 1, early round 2. Just didn't get him in this draft, unfortunately. I think Hunter's fine. Like, they're going to feed him a little bit, but there's just that unknown dynamic of being a rookie, being certainly the number 2 behind BTJ, and then also playing like defense as well. Like, what is that going to do to him? I don't know. I don't really want to pay to find out. Certainly, you can make a case that Olave is very, very risky given the concussion history. But in round 6, I think I'm willing to take a gamble on the guy who I know has proven top 25 upside. And the Saints are going to be throwing like all day, every game. So as long as he doesn't get knocked out, I think he's a really good play and a great flex option. All right, so in round 7, we can start taking big swings. I think we kind of already did that with Waddle and Olave for sure. A little bit risky, but those guys are just crazy values. At this point, you can, based off of where I approach, drafts, I think you can start going to look at quarterback just to make sure you don't completely miss out on the guys you want. So if we do that real quick, Kyler is a guy I like a lot. I think, though, we can basically get poor man's Kyler, maybe even better in a real sense, in Justin Fields a little bit later. So if you're a little bit worried about a quarterback run, Kyler is a good pick here. I'm going to wait and see if we can get the guy who I really want, and that is Fields. And if I don't get Fields, I don't feel that bad because there are other guys on the board that I feel really, really good about, like Dak Prescott. We got Brock Purdy, who's just rock solid. And then we have Jordan Love down here, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence. I like those guys quite a bit, and I think they're really good values, and I can get them later. We could kick it back to running back. A couple guys I just want to touch on in case we want to go there. Tony Pollard with Tyjae Spears banged up with a high ankle sprain. He could be a really, really good value. So, I was not interested in him at all. They were headed for a total timeshare. Maybe he still will be in a timeshare when it's all said and done. But if Tyjae Spears is going to miss any amount of time, and we know high ankle sprains can be re-injured in season, he could be an absolute smash. Caleb Johnson sharing the ball with Jalen Warren. If Caleb Johnson pulls away, he could be a good value here in round 7. But I'd be looking at Pollard, or I'd be looking at Tyrone Tracy, who he's kind of got a similar situation where Cam Scatabo was coming in to steal work from him, but now Cam Scatabo's got a hamstring issue. So Pollard and Tracy are benefiting immensely from their would-be RB2s, suffering injury issues. So I'm looking at those guys for sure. Kick it back over to wide receiver. I think Jacoby Myers is a fine option. That's basically the Raiders, wide receiver 1. Really like Ricky Pearsall. You can go back and forth between Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. There's no Debo. Brandon Ayuk is going to be on the pup list to start the season. So one or both those guys are going to crush. Right now, I do favor Pearsall a little bit. Jennings, he's been banged up. He's been asking for a trade. And Pearsall, just to me, is just the better prospect. So I think because the 49ers have draft capital in him, and because he's there, he's available, there's no dark cloud hanging over him in any regard, I think they would prefer to feed him, and that's the way I'm leaning for sure. So if I was going to go wide receiver here, it would be with Pearsall. At tight end, we're looking at Ingram, Njoku. Really like Tyler Warren. I think you just have to go in and think like, do I want the safety and a little bit of upside with Njoku, or do I want to make a splash pick and take a chance on Tyler Warren? You could go either way. In a lot of drafts I've done, I've kind of mixed it up. So right now I'm probably looking at Pearsall or Pollard or Njoku, and I think I'm going to grab Njoku just to get a more of a safer play. And what you can do at quarterback or tight end, not everybody wants to do it, but you can grab a little bit of insurance. So I don't think you need insurance with somebody like Njoku, but if you wanted to, if Warren's there another round later after getting another solid pick here, you could circle back and get Warren and pair him with Njoku. So that way you just have a really nice combo at tight end where you have, a super safe tight end with a little bit of upside, and then another tight end who is unproven and risky but has even more upside. All right, so running back Tyrone Tracy really stands out to me. I really like Cam Scatabo, but if he's not going to be available, like what can we do? Tyrone Tracy's super explosive, and really he's just a guy who like played wide receiver in college and just now got the chance to be a running back. So if he's going to actually develop and the Giants are going to feed him, he could be awesome this year. So in round 8 here, Tyrone Tracy looks like an amazing depth piece. He would be my RB3 or flex here. So I'm definitely looking at him. Back at wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka here, it looks like an awesome value. Chris Godwin is going to be on the pup list to start the year. Like some people think he's just like cooked, and he could be. He's like 30. He's coming off a dislocated and broken ankle, like ligament tears. Like it doesn't sound good at all. Not really feeling Khalil Shakir here. I just feel like he's more of he just feels like a floor pick. Like I don't see a lot of upside there. I feel like Josh Allen is Buffalo's offense. He's just going to find the right dude, and just, that's how it's going to go. So if I am going to draft wide receiver right here, it's going to be Egbuka. I'd be looking at Matthew Golden a little bit down here in a round or two as well. And we can go over to quarterback and get my guy Justin Fields. I think we can wait one more round and get Justin Fields. And you'll have to kind of play that game like in your league. Is there a Jets homer? Is there a former Bears homer who Bears fan who really likes Fields and just like wishes they never traded him away or what have you, right? Like you just need to also play your league mates a little bit. And I think round 8's okay to go grab Fields if you want to do that. I'm going to wait a second and I'm going to get crazy depth, in my opinion, and go get Tracy. So running back, we're looking at this point, kind of handcuffs or just guys who are going to be in timeshares. Stevenson, Najee, White, Charbonnet, like they're an injury away from being absolute studs. And that is where like the zero running back theory comes into play. Like you certainly could have waited on running back a little bit and then walked into a situation where like Charbonnet, Najee, White, these guys, Tank Bigsby, and then they just have like a massive workload out of nowhere, right? So that's fine. It's just not like screaming upside like somebody like Egbuka, who I'm just going to take and just gives me really nice depth and upside off the bench there. Then I can go back to quarterback, and there he is. That's my guy, Justin Fields, round 10, which is right where I'm targeting him. I do not understand it. I get it, new team. He's kind of been shaky just overall throughout his career, not super accurate or anything. But he does have an alpha wide receiver. He has a really good running back room, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. And he's got, I don't know if it's great coaching, but steady coaching with Aaron Glenn. And he's got the contract to kind of solidify that he is the guy. So as long as Justin Fields doesn't get hurt, we know that he has top 10 upside and the built-in rushing floor to make him a rock-solid play. I think you still can go get another quarterback in case you're a little worried about Fields, whether it be bad offense or just inconsistency or injury because he runs a lot. Go get a second quarterback if you want to do that. I think at this point, I probably would be kind of comfortable with kind of streaming if that were the case, or making a big trade, just because I think the depth that we have here is going to be pretty good. So you can go back to running back and look. Trey Benson as the guy right behind James Conner looks interesting. Dylan Sampson with Quinshon Judkins possibly missing some or all of the year with his off the field scandal. Those two guys are super, super interesting at running back right now. Wide receiver, you can take a swing at Keon Coleman developing in year 2. You can take a swing at Cedric Tillman as Cleveland's wide receiver 2 as well. I actually like Marvin Mims. I like him a lot later than this, but Marvin Mims was really good down the stretch, super explosive, And like the only guy stopping him from breaking out is Cortland Sutton, who's like at 29 years old. I mean, like he's good, but he's not like elite really. So if I were Denver and Mims was like just busting and like ready to rock, like why wouldn't you feed Marvin Mims, right? So he is interesting, just not yet. So I'm not looking at wide receiver here. Could go grab another tight end, like I was saying, but with Tyler Warren gone, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'm probably going to go back to running back and grab another body that I feel pretty good about. Dylan Sampson, talented rookie. Right now, he's just looking at Jerome Ford as the guy stopping him from doing anything. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't really scare me. So we can look around. Bishal Tootin, really explosive player. He is like the third guy in Jacksonville, though. So I'm not like I don't feel like I have to go get him. I think he's a nice stash, but we need to have every single rookie that's ever lived? Not really. I would prefer Jalen Wright. Like of this group of backs right here, I think Jalen Wright stands out the most. Like Miami running backs get hurt every second, and Devon Achane is definitely very tiny. So if you don't have Devon Achane, you might be wishing he gets hurt, and then not that you should do that. And then you have Jalen Wright stashed on your bench. And if you do have Achane, go grab Jalen Wright because that is a very, very good handcuff. And there's other guys that are looking good as handcuffs or just like nice stashes down the stretch. But if I was going to take the plunge, it would be with Jalen Wright right here. Christian Kirk, I don't know. I don't feel super confident in him locking down a marquee role in Houston's offense. Like obviously the dynamic with CJ Stroud's really compelling. I just don't trust him. He doesn't really stay healthy. They drafted Jaden Higgins and another guy, Noel, I think. And then, they already have obviously Nico Collins. So I just don't really trust him. And there's nobody else that really stands out. Like Kyle Williams is a nice stash. That's a nice reach. Don't think we have to go there right now. Cedric Tillman probably stands out a little bit more than anybody else here. Then you can get really good value on your bench with a second tight end here. It looks a little bit better than anything else you're getting over here. That said, like I was saying before, don't think we need to go get a second tight end. So I probably will just take a chance and a stash on Jalen Wright. So now we are up to 5 running backs. We don't need to go get another one. If you want to go get another one, Marshawn Lloyd behind Josh Jacobs, I think that's okay. Woody Marks, like Joe Mixon's on the pup. Nick Chubb is like the only thing Houston has right now. Woody Marks, really talented guy at a USC. He could actually have a huge role as a rookie. He has a good stash. Will Shipley, one Saquon injury away from being a stud, possibly. DJ Giddens, he's the handcuff to JT. Keaton Mitchell behind Derrick Henry, Kendra Miller behind Alvin Kamara. Lots of good handcuffs here that you can get late in round 13 or mid round 13. Wide receiver, you're just probably going to go with Cedric Tillman. We have a starter on an offense that's probably going to have to throw a little bit. And with Joe Flacco, at least tentatively currently leading the offense, like we know he can still throw even at 40. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a solid play. And since we are in a full PPR league, this is where I would suggest going to get either that second tight end if you wanted to, or go get a high upside rookie like Kyle Williams. He looks really good in general. And if he gets the opportunity to play, I think he could be a beast. You got Stephon Diggs, who is unproven coming off of ACL and just aging. And then they have like nobody else. Demario Douglas, Keyshawn Boutte, like what are we doing? So Kyle Williams definitely could play in his first year. Like Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, like those guys haven't done nothing to tell you that Kyle Williams can't earn a significant role right away. And going into the end of your drafts here, I would highly suggest not drafting a kicker or defense if you're looking at a lot of guys that you think are still, pretty valuable. Like we could take a shot on Jalen McMillan holding off Egbuka, especially if we drafted Egbuka, just a little bit of insurance. Excuse me. We could take a shot on Joshua Palmer having a bigger role with the Bills than anybody really thinks. Xavier Legette, blowing up in his second year. Jalen Coker taking over Legette's role. And so, just go look at guys that have some upside that cost nothing in round 15. And then we have 3 weeks here to prepare for our guy's going to get shelved for the year and you can stash them on IR, or if they get an injury, whatever the case may be, you can make those decisions and pick up and stream defense and kicker. That said, just for the sake of completing the lineup, we will go complete it and get a defense. KC is a fantastic defense. Nothing's changed. Great coordinator, great system, and a lot of good bodies to rely on. I think the Bills are fine. Rams, Packers, 49ers. The 49ers are really going to be overlooked down here. That's crazy. So you can certainly get the 49ers, but the Chiefs look really good. No problem with that whatsoever. And kicker, Will Lutz is probably the one here that everybody's going to look at as far as the guys that are available, just because he was like top 10 last year. That's fine. I don't mind Will Lutz. I do think a healthy Harrison Butker is super appealing. And then Tyler Loop, who's coming in and replacing Justin Tucker, is also interesting. I'm going to grab Butker. It might damage my score a little bit here. I don't really care. I will say the score system with the draft simulator, it doesn't guarantee anything. Like this team doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a playoff team. Certainly doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win a championship. But it does tell you that this is a good overall roster. This is a good draft. And overall, everything I've done and talked about in this video should show you that you can build a very, very good team from the 6th spot. Now, like I said, how you feel about some of those picks I made or my, insight or whatever on some of them, it could differ. That's fine. Everybody's different. That's why we don't draft the same way. And that's why, some people win, some people lose in different leagues. So that's just the way it goes. And I'm happy to debate that and, all your comments and who you'd rather pick in certain situations. Feel free to drop that in the comments. That just makes this all way more fun. But if you're on the fence or unsure about how to approach your draft from the 6th spot, hopefully this helped you out a little bit. And if you are looking for another spot to have some analysis, have a mock walkthrough just to see what can I do, what should I do, ask for that video in the comments below. And if we get 20 likes, I will pick one and do it. Already have a mock from the number 1 spot and already have a mock from the number 12 spot. So hopefully if you have a spot there, that helps you too. All right, that's going to do for me. If this does help you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and jump into our Patreon and Discord, just $5.99 a month. That Patreon Discord is not redraft stuff. It is DFS only. So if you want NFL DFS core plays, if you want NFL, NBA, MMA, and WNBA core plays, you can get them all and write-ups and everything by hitting up that link. All right, thanks for watching, and good luck this year.